The Education Response Plan for Refugees and Host Communities target to ensure improved learning of refugees and children in the host communities and adolescents. The first phase has benefited 577,500.
The initiative represented the collective national efforts to respond to the learning and protection crisis for children and youth in refugee hosting areas and to monitor the implementation.
The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, while launching the second phase of the response plan, emphasized provision of equitable and inclusive relevant learning opportunities to refugees.
The parents of our children and the parents of the refugee children also must play their role. And we must continue to guide them and to speak about this shared responsibility so that our communities and the refugees don't think that the responsibility is to government and to our partners and to those who are willing to support and that they have no role to play.
Education partners are pleased with outcomes of the first phase of the plan.
The education development partners are pleased to note the steady increase in enrollment rates for refugee and host community children. We are pleased to see some improvements in their learning achievements during phase 1 of the ERP, and we are quite confident that the second phase of the ERP will carry more positive news to these children of the refugees and the host communities.
Refugees' education programs are faced with the challenge of rampant dropouts, which threatens the sustainability of coordination efforts in 12 hosting districts.
And improvements must be made to meet the standard in pupil-to-teacher ratio and pupil-to-classroom ratios. To overcome these challenges, we need to and are pursuing long-term planning to ensure sustainability, particularly of recurrent costs, and addressing the infrastructure gaps that we see and need to address.
Uganda hosts at least 1.5 million refugees, with 60% of young people. The Office of the Prime Minister calls for more funding to sustain open-door policy for refugees.
Humanitarian funding has reduced significantly amidst global conflict. The refugee situation in Uganda is now protracted crisis that requires long-term development solutions. This very education response plan is underfunded.
The first phase of the Education Response Plan for Refugees and Host Communities was launched in 2018, which faced challenges of inadequate data for disability, 42% funding gap, low enrollment in secondary schools, and adverse impacts of COVID-19. Abdul Nasser Lubwama for UBC.